What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. I'm your host, DE2 Productions. So yesterday, I put up a community tab on editing out one of the best Power Ranger videos I've ever done on YouTube. Because yesterday on Twitter, Jonathan and Twizzle and E1 from Hasbro just announced that Power Rangers will be the feature franchise of Netflix. And boy, oh boy, we're gonna have a good time editing out the crap out of this video because y'all know how creative I get when it comes to Power Rangers or Mortal Kombat videos in general. So, allow me to educate y'all a little bit before I go to this article right quick. So before we get into this video, if y'all new to my channel, please subscribe and click that notification bell so you'll be notified for brand new content from your boy. So let's get to it. Y'all know Power Rangers is based on Super Sentai, right? Well, what if I told you that Super Sentai is based off the 1975's very first Super Sentai, Go Ranger. Now, Go Ranger pretty much is the longest running Sentai show in Sentai history. Only 50 episodes. It does have some cool moments to say the least. And let's just say it was the first Sentai that paved the way for future Sentai installments in later years. So, Go Ranger was not the only longer running Sentai series has ever done. Jaka is the second longest running Sentai show in history. But fast forward to 16 years later, when we getting our first dinosaur-themed Sentai, Kuryu Sentai Zyuranger, which became Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1 as we all know and love today. Ever since 1993, the Power Rangers has become one of the biggest franchises within 24 hours. So let's just say the Power Rangers really changed the way that we look at TV today. And if you don't know, back in 2002 when Power Rangers was sold to Disney, when it became Power Rangers Wild Force, up until RPM. Fast forward to 2018 when Hasbro bought the rights from Saban, not just the toy lines, but everything. Toy lines, TV shows, video games, etc. So now it became Hasbro's Power Rangers universe now. Ever since then, they came out with the first season of Beast Morphers, even though it feels like a Neo Saban era, in my honest opinion. So, Beast Morphers was their quote-unquote first official season of the Hasbro era. Then you have your current season that is running on Netflix, which is Power Rangers Dawn of Fury as you have right now. That is my little acknowledgement of going over the history of the Power Rangers and Super Sentai altogether. So, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to this article, we're gonna break down each of the segments step by step. And this could be the longest video I've ever done, so don't quote me. So, yeah, let's hop on to it, y'all. Alright, so right now we are at the article, so let's hop on to it, y'all. Just over a year ago, we heard the rumblings of the Power Rangers reboot universe. Spearheaded by director Jonathan and Twizzle, we haven't heard much since, but today we got our first glimpse at this universe is going to be bigger than any fan could have ever imagined. In a deadline interview with E1, which is part of Hasbro, President Global Television Michael Lamberto discussed the company's plans for upcoming productions, one of which is the new Power Rangers universe. Now, this part right here, it really goes to show you that your excitement, my excitement for this franchise is getting much hyper. Now, this could be the reboot of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which I hope they still do, not create nothing new, no new Power Rangers to do all that time traveling crap to go back to the 90s to meet the original Power Rangers team, because they just wouldn't sit right to me. It doesn't need to be that. You know, you could just still reboot the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. You could just do it right. Use some of the elements from the Boom Studio comics and just that. You know, you can have yourself a good time with the Power Rangers reboot done right. A year ago, we only have vague promises of what we might be getting, but now things appear to be much firmer. Lamberto says that the new universe will be a whole world approach. It's not just one show, it is shows followed by films, some kids programming. a year ago, we only have vague promise of what we might be getting, but now things appear to be much firmer. Lombardo says that the new universe will be a whole world approach. It's not just one show, it is shows followed by films, some kids programming. So I'm guessing they're going to be doing the whole Turbo route. When the movie becomes a pilot, then the TV show will follow that. Even though Turbo is one of the crappiest movies I've ever seen. But the movie made any sense whatsoever, so y'all can disagree. A film and kids series. What this adds is that multiple films, non-kids shows, and kids shows are being planned. Presumably, this might include the new animation series that Hasbro might mention in the past. Let's break all these new developments down. Alright, here we go. Lombardo stated that this new universe would not just be one show he referred to as a show. We also know these will be shows that aren't aiming at kids, since later on he specifies they're also working on kids programming. Now, I guess what he meant to say is that they're going to be doing two shows. A show that is not aimed towards kids, and a show that's aimed towards kids, much like continuing to adapt the Sentai shows and using your traditional Power Rangers show. But in terms of another show that is aimed towards teenagers and adults, I think if you do shows like that, it could easily work like that, you know what I'm saying? You know, reboot the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie and a TV show, and then you can still continue on with your Sentai adaptation on another Power Rangers brand kids show. Because if you think about it, y'all can make a lot of money and just maybe you could just pay your actors, you know? Just want to throw that out there. That will focus the franchise on a new non-kids demographic. We aren't sure if that's teens or adults, but it wouldn't surprise us if Netflix were trying to build up a universe of Power Ranger shows akin to the CW Arrowverse series. There are over 20 different Power Ranger seasons and teams to draw inspiration from, and a rich universe to pull different shows ideas of. Wow! So they really are, you know, doing something different with this franchise, which I'm not mad at them for doing that. I'm not mad at them at all for that. You know, I just hope they do it right instead of just try to go big, you know, because that's gonna turn away fans if you want to go that route. If you know what I'm talking about. That's why I'm sorry. We had previously reported that Intuos would be directing a new live-action Power Rangers film that would be more mature than the current TV series and be written by Titans director Brian Edwards. The film being planned, but several. Now, I've seen a little bit of Titans show. I'm a little worried that it's gonna end up being just as worse as Titans, because Titans show is just not that good. Although the action and the fight scenes are good, but as far as like, you know, I'm having to do with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, you know what I'm saying? I just have my concerns out, because I really don't want part of Power Rangers what Netflix has to offer. So for now, this is some exciting news, but I do have to be optimistic about this at the same time. So don't be mad at me for that. Shows will be followed by films seem to indicate that perhaps multiple shows may be released before the film would come out. In a way, it'd be like what the MCU did with Avengers. Although instead of multiple solo films, you'll get multiple TV shows. Imagine if the Arrowverse Crisis on Infinite Earth event was, Jesus Christ. Crisis on Infinite Earth event wasn't a multi-parter, but a feature film. Oh, so they're like doing what MCU did and doing what CW does. I would say they need to do what the MCU did. You know, just focus mainly on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and hopefully they'll focus on other things, just Mighty Morphin, instead of just creating brand new original Power Rangers team that is just new and original. That just would not make any sense. It just would not feel right. You know, just don't add the time traveling part to just go back to the 90s. It's just gonna suck on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Just Mighty Morphin, I'm just saying. Because y'all know Mighty Morphin makes a lot of money. Because if you're going around creating new original team, it just wouldn't feel right. I'm sorry. Netflix wants to build up a Power Rangers film instead of just tossing it out there and hoping it'll attract new viewers. Perhaps the show will be a great tool, not just to lay the world building so the film can hit the ground running, but also a way to slowly introduce the public to this new version of the franchise. I like where this is going. I would say they need to take their time and just do what they gotta do to get everything right and not mess up everything, instead of just tossing it out there like they did with that controversial movie Cooties, you know, without any explanation. But if they could somehow do something like this, I just hope and pray that this one does better. So, yeah. But it's not. So I don't know where to get that from. It seems that Hasbro still wants to produce shows meant for Power Rangers original demographic, kids. What's most interesting about the prospect of these shows is how they'll relate to everything else. Now, you know what? Here's the thing. I think you could just do 3 things with it. You know, continue the same style adaptation, which is the smaller audiences, and then once you do that, you can just create a new animated series, and then after that, you can just do the current one that is not aimed towards kids. It's for like adults and teens or different demographic. A Mighty Morphin Power Rangers reboot, film, and TV show. All 3 things, all at the hands of Hasbro and E1 Entertainment. If you do something like that, I think chances are this franchise will blow up even more if it's done right. You know what I'm saying? As a universe of multiple series, you can read the use of universe as a simple way to refer to everything in development, but the fact that Lombardo says that their plan is a whole new world approach makes it seem like everything would be connected. The non-kid shows, the films, and the kid shows could all connect it in one universe. That sounds like a good plan to me. At the older audiences, the kid shows Marvel has produced have very clearly been in their own universe and only draw inspiration from the MCU, though this looks to change soon if the new Spider-Man freshman year animated series is aiming at kids. Balancing all of the tones that would be needed to make this work could be a challenge, but if the non-kid shows and films don't go harder than a PG-13, then it's more than possible. I say go for it, because if you look at the Shattered Grid comic and Battle for the Grid cutscenes, I think they might end up doing something like this, similar to Spider-Man Into the Spideyverse. And I haven't seen the trailer of the new Spider-Man freshman year animated series trailer, or possibly a news yet. Just note that Power Rangers could be similar to that, because we definitely need to get Power Rangers to be more exposed even more, so that way a lot of fans, older and newer audiences, could be familiar with different teams and franchise, and including the Sentai as well. So that could easily work. Or if shows if Hasbro and E1 don't have full control over what footage they'll be getting from Japan. They will Okay, you know what? I need to speak on this once again. There's no way in the world they're explaining from Sentai because it just doesn't make any sense. Hasbro just brought the company like from 2018. They did not come out their way and say that they're gonna stop adapting Sentai and stop using Japanese stock footage. You can still do that, you know, for a kid show. But with Jonathan Entwistle and Brian on the other side that is not for kids, with the reboot of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers show or film, you can just do all three of them like I said before. You don't need to stop completely using the Sentai season altogether because that just would not make any sense. And it just wouldn't be Power Rangers without Super Sentai. And I've said this multiple times. I trust Illuminati or any other sites that just go around and try to spoil everything. Like, I said what I said. I don't like those people, you know, because I still don't agree on the whole split from Hasbro and Toei because it's just not true because they haven't even come out and said it yet. That all of the new shows in the Power Rangers universe will be on the same platform, which makes perfect sense if you want to have that big of an interconnected universe. I'm guessing he means that all of the previous seasons that were removed from Netflix will be returning, which I kind of hope they do, but I highly doubt they will. They can pull it off, which I know they will. They'll have one of the most unique interconnected universes yet. However, these are just plans. We'll have to wait and see how they pan out as they're released. Multiple franchises have failed to make the interconnected universe work. Interconnected universe work, and Power Rangers have uphill battle of shading its cheesy kid show reputation. We can't wait to see how they tackle it. Whew, that was a bit tough article to read, y'all, because you know how much I hate reading. I have to do this. I have to give y'all the information. But here's my thoughts and opinions on this as well. If they're going to adapt Sentai, at least do it right. Well, we all know they're still gonna do it because Zyuohger is still rumored to be adapted from Sentai, you know, and you can just do what Dino Fury did, use limited Sentai footage, but be completely original, you know what I'm saying? And as far as like them still using Japanese footage from different Sentai for Power Rangers, they can still do that for just kid shows in terms like cheesy one-liners and all that. But you could do like multiple things. One for a different demographic, one for its original graphic, which is children, and one for the younger audience, which is the animated series. And if you do something like that, all three things combined at the same time in one Netflix universe, all of that can work. You can still make you a buttload of money, if you ask me. So that's just my thoughts and opinions on what they need to do, what they can do if it's done right. Because like I said, I'm excited for it, but at the same time, I'm still being optimistic about it. You know, just want to make sure that they do not mess up, because this franchise needs to have a reboot big time. So if y'all enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you in my next content.